Welcome to the morning after Super Bowl 22 week edition here in the Winter Wonderland. It is not the all-fantasy team, by the way. It is Fantasy Honors this week of Wisconsin. After getting like 14, 15 inches out there coming in from the snow, it's been a real fun morning already. But we'll get into the action. There was 3 questions asked to me this week that I will go over in this segment today. First of all, let's get to the thing that's most important, and that is the Super Bowl 22 results. The Bruisers took down Team Price is Right 89-74. The Team of Destiny finishes it off by winning their first ever Super Bowl. Bruisers wide receivers all scored touchdowns this week and combined for 42 points, and the Arizona defense / special teams dominated Green Bay and had 21 points. Team Price is Right was led by Drew Brees and his torn plantar fascia with 22 points, but not enough as the Bruisers win their first title, so congratulations, Bernie. We'll have to get the trophy engraved, and we will be sending checks out. Note to everyone here, checks will be going out after Week 17 because there is one more thing that can happen. It's the Battle Royal. So whoever has high points this week wins $20. So remember, it's not over yet. You can sign people yet. Go ahead. Still up in the air to win another $20. A question was asked me by Griff. Are these the 2 worst teams to ever play in the Super Bowl? That a question. The answer is no. I believe Bernie and Tim were 4-7 in points during the regular season. And the answer is this year, or previous year, the worst ever was in 2001. Bernie played the Maulers in the Super Bowl. The Maulers were the 5th highest scoring team, and the Bruisers were the 7th. The sad part of that is that the 2 of them, as 5-7, there was only 10 teams in the league. So 5-7 was actually a little worse than our this year's 4-7 for the 2 of them. Just double checking right now. Yeah. Tim was the 3rd highest scoring team actually. So not too bad in terms of that. Sorry, 4th. So the Bruisers, yeah, it's not that bad. 4th and 7th. Previously was worse. Another thing that was looked at, and we'll talk about that next, is the Bone Storm took on the Cardinals for the 3rd place game. They win another $25 out of that, 79.5 to 65. The Jaguars wide receivers, the kings of garbage time, them and Blake Bortles, combined for 32.5 points. And Julio Jones for the Cardinals at 15.5. Question was asked, I asked it, I think myself, is this the most dominant team in league history? Answer is no. Previously, the most dominant team was my team back in 2002, I think. They had outscored the next highest scoring team by 128 over the course of a year. Lost the Super Bowl to Hill's Thrills, who I'd outscored by over 200 points on the year. So more than 20 points a week, I'd outscored this team. And I lost due to 3 defensive touchdowns for the Tennessee defense. I still remember that one vividly. The loss last week to Brent was probably my 2nd hardest, behind Bites' Super Bowl loss I had when they scored on the last play of the Monday night game on garbage time. But Danny Woodhead going crazy will still have nightmares for me. Boy, that was rough. But yeah, then Scott's Horn Dogs also had the 2nd most dominant team as they had outscored their next highest scoring team by 110, and mine was 98. So the 3rd most dominant team finishes not anywhere close as they had failed down the stretch. Next up, we will take a look at the OK Bowl number 9. First-time winner here is the Badgers take down the Kongs 85-73. Badgers are led by Tim Hightower's 21 points, and no, this is not 2011. Even then, Tim Hightower, I don't think ever had 21 points, so heck of a game for him. Russell Wilson continued his hot stretch for the Kongs as he had 15 points. Is that the end of the Kongs? We're not sure. Hopefully not. Hopefully he's back. But if not, thanks for everything. Thanks for the memories, Dan. You had some good teams. You actually had one of the best teams in the league a couple years ago with the best record. So if it is, ended up, 2nd best of the rest. But Bites joins the illustrious teams there and snaps the Gargoyles mini dynasty in the OK Bowl as he wins that one. 3rd question that was asked to me this week is Team Kent. TK's Bucks asked me, has anyone ever had allowed 1,000 points in a season? Because his team had 1,000 points scored against him? And the answer is no. I can only go far back as 2003 or 2009, and the highest was 933. So I highly doubt anyone had scored over 1,000 points. So that's just crazy dumb luck that you had 1,000 points scored against you, Kent. But you can take that record. That's a sad record, or bad luck record at least. But better things in store for the Bucks next year. Player of the week this week goes to the playoff MVP. It'd be tempting to give it to Ruben Randle because he did have 3 touchdowns, 3 ridiculously wide open touchdowns over the playoffs. But it'll go to Doug Baldwin, and one of them actually won the wild card round for him. Doug Baldwin this week had in the playoffs had 6 touchdowns, 245 receiving yards, and 48.5 points. Just a ridiculous end of the season for him. Now I'll break down the prize money. Previously I had already said that I'd won 75 with most points and the high points. I added another 75 to that by finishing 4th. The Bone Storm, not the Bone Stole, won $100. Garbage Men won $30 for 6th place, and the Horn Dogs won $50. Team Price is Right won $200, and the Bruisers won $325. Like I said, checks will be going out after Week 17, after the Battle Royal, so there'll be another $20 prize money given out. The Fantasy Honors now are coming up. All the honors are given at the end of the regular season, so after like Week 13, so some of the stats might be a little off. The guy who won the MVP has since tailed off, as I know very well. We'll get into it right now with the honors. An award that previously was named after former league member Dave Pujic and Dave's Dragons. Previously, this had been going to the Fighting Sasquatches every year, but now that he's out, I've now won it 2 years in a row with the most transactions on the year. The Eric Red Award of the Comeback Player of the Year, there was actually quite a few guys, but I ended up giving it to Doug Martin this year, who was the 55th running back last year, and at the end of the regular season, he was the number 3 running back, so a heck of a bounce-back year for Doug Martin in his contract year. And also, if I have a chance to give it to a Buccaneer running back, I will, since it's the Eric Red Award. Fantasy Honors, the Kurt Warner Award of the Best Undrafted Free Agent went to Blake Bortles, not Black Bortles. He ended the year as the number 5 quarterback on the year. Heck of a year. And like I said, the king of garbage time, because the man puts up a ton of points after the Jaguars already have been buried in their games. And then the Tom Brady Award of the Best Late Round Pick. For the second straight year, it went to a wide receiver / tight end in the 14th, that was drafted in the 14th round. Last year, Odell Beckham was drafted in the 14th round. This year, Tyler Eifert went in the 14th round for TK's Bucks. So the Bucks get 2 honors this year. And the Fantasy Honors for the Ryan Leaf Award of the First Round Bust went to Andrew Luck, who was the 3rd overall pick but ended up being, at the end of the regular season, the 25th quarterback due to injuries and ineffectiveness. It's a horrible year for him. I'm sure he'll bounce back next year and be a really good value, probably in the 3rd, 4th round, wherever he's taken. But this year, not good. Piling on the LBM with their terrible year that they had. They can forget this year and move on to next year. So Little Big Man will be able to bounce back, I'm sure, next year. Finally, the MVP, like I said, is a guy who started out the year really good. Actually, throughout the whole regular season, he was very good. But tailed off last couple weeks. Tom Brady had 19.1 points. And the reason he won it over a couple other guys is he had a little higher points than the next highest player. I think Cam Newton at the time was like a point behind him per game. Devontae Freeman probably would have won it if he didn't have so many injuries and tail off at the end of the year. But Adrian Peterson was a little closer to him than Cam Newton was to Tom Brady. So Tom Brady wins the MVP and hopefully can win me the Battle Royal next week. Finally, next week, Battle Royal up. Last thing for $20 extra. Remember to follow me on Twitter. And that is it. That is the end of the year. Next year, I had thought about going to 14 teams, but I think that might not work so good. I think the league's a little too thin in terms of running backs and stuff like that. I think it'll be too hard. The one thing we will most likely introduce, 99.9% certainty, is free agent budgets. So fab. So it won't just be the worst team who will get the top pick on free agency on a Thursday morning. You'll bid. You'll have like $100 throughout the year to spend, whether you want to use it right away in week 1 or not, and you can bid on free agents. I think that'll be an interesting twist, and it'll add a little more strategy to that instead of the worst team always just loading up on their depth. So that's the show. That's the year. Best of luck to everyone. Bites, you also won the Jim Shavino Memorial Belt. The consolation belt, the cardboard, beautiful belt that it is. I'll probably try to put a picture or something up on that, or maybe have the trophies and stuff when they're all done shown on here, and just a little quick segment. So that's it. Pretty much the end of the year, we'll have a little trophy presentation after that later, but that'll be a short, like 1 minute segment later. Thanks, everybody. See you next year. Bye.